Sorry, I have to abruptly end the videos because if I don't, then I have to redo the whole video over again. Um, Hopefully, I won't have to do that last one. I was just saying that talking about how a lot of the care that these people were receiving wasn't suitable for autism. They weren't getting the help that they needed, the particular help that they needed. And the last person that I quoted was a female, and she said, I had communication issues with each of my therapists because they expected me to be neurotypical. So I would take things too literally, and they thought it was a defense mechanism, or I'd try to explain meltdowns and they focused on my thoughts rather than how to deal with overreactive sensory perception. So when we have meltdowns, it's usually because we feel bombarded by um, our senses. Like it's too hot, it's too cold, too loud. Normally don't have a problem with being too quiet, but sometimes, I guess, or the lighting. A lot of times, the lighting is a problem. Like it's too bright. I have problems with these LED lights. They cause me to have headaches. Um, Sometimes it just depends on, I think, the brand or the frequency. I don't know what it is, but like these, there's some overhead lights, and I can't, as soon as I turn those things on, I get a headache. This one is okay, but I don't like it, but I can deal with it. It's doable. So then the next part is well-being. Although the survey questions were phrased to explore treatment and support in relation to mental health, self-injury, and unaliving oneself, interestingly, participants' responses frequently reference their overall well-being. This theme explores those experiences of treatment and support which, when negative, adversely impacted the participants' well-being, while in contrast, when positive, enhanced their well-being. So it can go both ways. And then it goes on to speak about the negative impacts. Um, Experiences of perceived inappropriate support made participants feel even worse about themselves and their disabilities, to the extent that it was actually disempowering. Uh, for other participants, the absence of appropriate treatment and support was at the root of the negative impact on their lives. Um, I had to stay in the hospital twice. Well, how many times have I been? 2 or 3 times. And it was a very unpleasant experience for me. So I hope to never, ever have to go to another hospital and stay in a hospital again. Um, I got, well, I did get good treatment from some people, but then I got bad treatment from, you know, medical personnel and other patients. Because one time I had food poisoning, and I mean, it was an emergency. I had to stay in the hospital for a couple of days, And I shared a room with this other woman, and I um just think, like I was on my deathbed. I felt really horrible. And she had a visitor, a male visitor, and he come in and he was talking loudly and talking about female um, bathroom habits. Like, why the F would, that's just not appropriate. That's not polite. When somebody is sick in bed, you don't go into a public place and talk about um, stuff like that. Like, he was talking about how some women don't like to sit down on the toilet seat or whatever. And I mean, and I know he was looking over at me because he wanted me to hear it. And so I knew what he was saying was directed at me. He wasn't even talking to the poor lady that he was visiting. So then I got really extremely upset, and I started yelling, and I told the nurse, "You need to move me out of this room immediately because that man over there is being sexually harassing me," which he was. That's sexual harassment right there. It's disgusting. I do not, I will not tolerate anyone talking to me, you know, unless I know you and we're friends and, we're joking or whatever. And he was a complete stranger and he was visiting her, and I was deathly sick. Um, I had IV in me. It was horrible. Anyways, back to this. So I have it's on the 7 minute, almost 8 minute. I used to have a lot of support, and since the cuts have really struggled, I guess they're getting cuts in the medical uh, support. I'm forgetting meds, have lost lots of skills and confidence, and stuck indoors now all the time. I am ill, but my mom is old now, so can't take me to GPS. And when we go, they do not listen and they do not understand me. Support workers used to help me do all the times I just ticked, but I lost them. Now I get sore and infections because I forget to wash and struggle to find energy. I used to volunteer and also do courses. Now I do nothing. I'm alone almost all the time. I've got to the point where I wonder what the point of me being here is. I don't contribute anything. I have no life and no purpose. And that was a male man. So, isolation is a big problem. It is for me now. I don't have any friends. I don't talk to anyone. Um, apart from my sisters, and sometimes my sisters and I argue, so I don't talk to them when we are arguing because I feel like we just need time to, like a timeout, and to recalibrate. And so it's a problem. And I just was really hoping that I could move somewhere and be with people who get me and who accept me, and I could help them and they could help me. But it just doesn't look like that's going to happen. And I'm really down about it. I don't know what I'm going to do. Nobody in my family that I would consider living around, they don't want to move here because they got their own families. And my one sister, who I thought might move here, it's just too much for her to move. She's also all alone. She's older than me and she has no help. And we're kind of in the same boat. And I just don't know what I'm going to do. I mean, I've tried to unalive myself in the past, but I'm always here in the end. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Because I'm a very practical person. If I cannot live in the way that I want to live, I don't want to be here. Simple as that. If I can't have a roof over my head and food that I like to eat and my books and people that I get along with and enrich my life, what's the point of being here? I have my art, but if I'm homeless, I won't even have that. And I know there's people that are way worse off than I am, but I can only worry about my own self. If I can get to a better place in life, then I could help other people. that's that's the frustrating part. If I can get somewhere where I feel safe and I feel, because if I don't feel safe, then I'm never going to heal. See, you can't you can't heal and when you're in a place where you don't feel safe, where you're constantly, there's like a weight on your shoulders and on your head, and it's just constant, like in the back of your mind, just constant, you know, um, stress and anxiety, and what am I going to do, and where am I going to go, and how am I going to do this, and how am I going to pay my bills, and how am I going to, it's just like, can't do it. So let's see. I think this is about, oh, I did want to say participants also felt excluded from society and the local community. I miss out on my vibrant town's many events because I can't cope with the noise and crowds on my own. That was a female. Another road of participating in the world through an ever smaller keyhole. Female. In reference to activities that she no longer felt able to complete, which, such as going to the shops. See, I always have to go grocery shopping alone. That is not safe in the world that we live in. Females should not be going to grocery shopping alone. They should have other people with them. And I feel like I have to go to the grocery shop. I mean, I only go like once a month, but I have to go shopping by myself. I have to do everything by myself.